Shalom, family. Welcome back once again. Family, today I want to speak a little bit on marriages and how that you don't invite outside worldly influences in your marriage. Okay. There's a saying that I find to be true. Marriage does not have room for three people. Okay. Marriage is between a husband and his wife only. It don't concern in-laws and friends and none of that. Any issues that arise in a marriage should be settled by the husband and the wife. Anytime a third mouth comes into it, it's going to make it worse. Because worldly people have no concept of the wisdom of the scriptures. And so they're going to judge by worldly solutions. Okay? It's this story that just come out about this Gentile woman. Her and her husband went to court, and it was just to go for, a matter of expenses. It wasn't no custody hearing. It had nothing to do with but except expenses. Okay? The judge took custody from the mother because when he asked her, had she got the jab, she said no. So he gave her son to the father because of that. It had nothing to do with that. They were only there for expenses, okay? Had nothing to do with custody. And so whenever you seek justice out of the courts, you're not going to get it. Because most of these officials are bought off. They have their own agenda. You're just not going to receive the outcome that you would like. All right? It's always pretty much one-sided or unfair. This is why, as Israelite people, we keep these people out of our business. Do not seek advice from Gentiles who are not living by the truth of the scriptures and the wisdom in the scriptures. Now, that's not to say that if a couple is struggling a little bit, that they can't find a sister and brother that's deeply rooted and grounded in the truth and uses the wisdom of the scriptures to assist you. There's nothing wrong with that, because they're not using worldly knowledge, okay? And they've been through, a few things like you have, and yet they remain committed to their marriage and worked it out among themselves. So that'd be the best advice you can get from a brother and sister who's grounded in the truth and have a successful marriage, and they've never separated or nothing. They just did what the Most High wants you to do, and that's stay committed, without all these outside influences, because it only makes it worse. When you invite your in-laws into it, they don't have the ability to be impartial. You know, the man's parents is going to side up with the man, and the woman's parents are going to side up with their daughter, okay? It's not going to ever come out right. And even if the matter is finally settled, now you have animosity and hatred between the man and your family, or his family against you. They'll never really like you again, okay? Or care for you again. So it's best to just keep them out of it to start with. Now, I know it's instances where somebody have to intervene when it's physical. When it becomes physical, you know, this punching and fighting and all that, where somebody has to intervene and remove one of the parties from, you know, the location, okay? Because you know, it may turn deadly or something like that. But I mean, disagreements and not seeing a certain subject the same way or situation the same way, then you should be able to work that out among the two of you, okay? Now, it was nothing fair or just about what this judge did. And if they will do it to a Gentile, you imagine what they will do if we have to show up in a courtroom. So we should try to avoid that. You know, if couples, when they separate, remain at least cordial toward each other because of the children, but you wouldn't end up in court. You know, men, those are your children regardless, if you're in the home or out of the home. So nobody should have to make you take care of them. You shouldn't have to be made to pay no child support. You and the custodial parent should get together on a cordial basis and discuss, okay, what you can do. You know, you lay out your expenses and, you know, okay, well, I can afford to do this every month or every week, and see if y'all can come to a common ground. And you should be able to, without the help of these courts. You know, it never turns out good, family. Even in a domestic disturbance and the police is called, we've seen too many cases when the police come, it escalates. See, the man is upset, you know, because the police is there, and he may say something, you know, to the police that they don't like, and it ends up in the loss of his life. You know, they'll shoot him or say they thought he had a gun in his hand or whatever. It turns out badly. And then you'll feel badly for even calling them in the first place. See? And we have to realize, family, that anyone can be at fault. It don't necessarily have to be the man at fault. Sisters can be at fault too. But what happens when the police come? This man works, he supports his family, he's paying the mortgage, he's doing everything else. Y'all got into this disagreement. But when the police come, he's made to leave his own home that he is paying for. So how is that fair? You know, no violence involved or nothing, but well, sir, we suggest you go ahead and leave, you know, get you a few clothes, you know. They don't know if this man got somewhere to go or not. You know, he have to try to find a room or go move with one of his relatives or something like that. You know, it's no fairness in that, because the agenda of this world, especially toward us, is to keep families separated. All right? One of the worst things that I hate is when couples break up and the custodial parent, the one who retains custody of the children, turns the children against the missing parent, whether it be a man or a woman. See? And so those children grow up hating their dad for no reason at all, just because you badmouth your dad all their growing years. And when they get to be teenagers, they have no use for their dad. And for one reason, you kept them out of his life, you know. Wouldn't let them go around him, wouldn't let them spend time with him and be involved in their life. You have badmouthed him and told your children he wasn't no good, and it could be the biggest lie in the world, you know. See, mothers are not going to tell the children why their father's not there. See, it could be for adultery on the woman's part that the man left. See, it's not always a man's fault when he leaves. He could have caught her in adultery. But she's not going to tell her children that. She's just going to badmouth the man. She's going to try to get out ahead of the curve. See? So what happens? The children grow up not liking their father, or vice versa. Children grow up not liking their mother if they're, you know, in the custody of their father, and that shouldn't be. You should never turn your children against their parents. Neither one. It really makes me mad about these professional athletes and entertainers and rappers and all. The first thing they do when they get up there, first of all, I want to give honor to God. Well, which God? Because you're not serving the one we serve. You know, you serving the God of this world. You know, I mean, here rappers get up there and all they produce is filthy music. And then the first thing come out their mouth, I want to give honor to God. Which God? Not Yahweh. It must be Satan. So, and then the next thing out of their mouth, well, I want to thank my mother. They never even mention the dad. You know, he done worked all and brought you up, you know, and fed you, clothed you, had a roof over your head. And because before you got grown, something happened that him and your mother are not together, and you don't give him credit for nothing. Just watch, people. Y'all seen it before. Every time somebody accepts the award, it's always the mom. That's not fair. You know, what does the scripture say? It says, honor thy father and thy mother. Now, I don't see anything else on that. See, I didn't see honor thy father and mother if they're still together. It said honor thy father and mother, period. Whether they're together or not, you honor both of them because you have no idea why they're not together. You can only go by what the mom told you or what the dad told you. See, about the missing parent. You honor both of them. You know, don't use children as some kind of bargaining chip. You know, if you want to see these kids, you got to do this. You don't do that. He has every right, or she has every right, to see their children, okay, on a regular basis so that she or he will be a part in their life. You know, he gives them the wisdom that they need from a man. You give them the wisdom that they need from a woman, okay? That's the way that should work. You don't need a court to decide that for you. That should be a mutual agreement that you will never keep his children or her children away from her. It's not right. Okay. Now, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. I believe it's from verse 12 to 16. But to the rest speak I, not the Most High. If any brother has a wife that believes not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. And the woman which has a husband that believes not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now they are holy. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or sister is not under bondage in such cases, but the Most High has called us to peace. For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband? Or how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife? What's that saying, family? If you got an unbelieving spouse and he's still pleased to be there with you, he's doing everything he's supposed to do. He's taking care of business. He's feeding the family. He's providing a roof over their head. He's doing everything right, except he don't believe. Okay? But he don't want a divorce. He don't want to leave. Then you don't leave him. Vice versa with the wife, an unbelieving wife. Now, that being said, I'm not talking about an unbeliever that is trying to get you to disregard and turn back from the Most High. Try to entice you back into the world that you no longer desire. Like start back eating pork. Start back celebrating Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter and all, I don't mean people like that. If they want to celebrate those pagan holidays, then let them do it with their family that still does it, and not at your home. They shouldn't try to bring that into your home where you and him reside. If they want to celebrate their holiday, let them go to their family's house that still celebrates. But do not try to entice you to do it. See? And if it's a husband or wife that tries to give you an ultimatum, okay, either you want me or you want the Most High. I don't like all this stuff you doing, so you gonna have to choose between me and the Most High. Well, the choice is clear. Get away from me. But other than that, if they're not trying to influence you back into the world, if they're okay with you serving the Most High and obeying his statutes and commandments, but they just are not believers yet, okay, then that's fine, because like the scriptures say, if they're there long enough, you're going to influence them to change, not the other way around. See, they eventually come around if you remain steadfast in the belief and set a good example. They'll eventually come around. Okay? So that's what it means why in verse 16 say, what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband? He may come around. All right? But there are some people who hate that their wife or their husband is walking in the truth. And so they just start all kind of mess, threatening to leave, if you don't quit worshiping the Most High, if you don't start back participating in all this foolishness, this worldly stuff, these pagan holidays. Those you need to get away from, because they're trying to be a hindrance to one of the Most High's children. And, the scriptures tell you, it'd be better if a millstone was hung around your neck, than to do that. Okay. Let's go to Matthew chapter 19. I believe we start at verse 4. And he answered and said unto them, have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, for this cause a man shall leave his father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more two, but one flesh. What therefore the Most High has joined together, let no man put asunder. And when it says no man, it means no man. Keep these outside influences, these outside mouths out of your marriage, family. It can only lead to destruction. And that goes for the courts, this Gentile system, which is hell-bent on breaking up marriages, especially ours. See, they're going to always do things to try to keep the man and the woman separated, and separated from his children, so they can't be a family of one. See, when a family is strong and is together, they're hard to control. But you break them up, into individual pieces. You promise the woman all kinds of welfare and services if she don't go back to the man. Okay? That's just the way that works. So therefore, some sisters get the idea, well, I don't need no man. Well, that little government assistance is about to wear out as we speak. And the only way you may be able to retain it, is you got to take what. Okay? You know what I'm talking about. See, anything that the government gives you is strings attached to it. You best believe that, okay? Nothing is free. Let's see. Matthew 5:32. But I say unto you that whosoever shall put his wife away, except for the cause of fornication, causes her to commit adultery, and whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committed adultery. Now, you got to understand that meaning the word fornication has many meanings. It can also be synonymous with adultery, but it don't always have to be sexual in nature. One of the definitions in Strong G4202, metaphorically speaking, the worship of idols. See, your spouse can commit fornication just by worshiping of idols. Our people committed fornication all the time with the Most High. You'll find that in Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 8. They did it a lot. That is fornication. See, don't think of it as this verse saying physical fornication, sexual fornication. It can be fornication, anything concerning the Most High. They worshiping other idols, things like that, or trying to entice you to worship idols. See, It's called spiritual fornication, which our people did a whole lot. This is why we was in one bondage to another. We just kept doing it. All right. But like I say, when it comes down to interfering and trying to prevent one or the other from worshiping the Most High in truth, then it's time to go. It's time to separate. Okay? Other than that, you may be able to eventually turn them toward the truth. If you remain steadfast yourself and don't let it be the other way around, they influence you to come back into the world. That ain't never supposed to happen. Okay? What's this, Matthew 19? I'm going to read verse 3 through 9. The Pharisees came also unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And Mashiach answered and said unto them, Have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? And said, For this cause a man shall leave his father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they shall be one flesh. All right? We skip down to verse 7. They say unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and put her away? He said unto them, Moses, because of your hardness of your hearts, allowed you to put away your wife. But from the beginning, it was not so. See, the Most High didn't intend, Most High doesn't like divorce, family, and sometimes it's necessary that you do. But he doesn't like it, you know. And so you have to strive to put together, stay together, family. There is no perfect marriage, okay, in the sense of the word. But if both of you are grounded in the truth, love the Most High, there's no reason why that marriage should fail, okay? Now, if you're worldly people, then you're going to have difficulties because you're going to understand things from a worldly point of view and not biblical point of view. All right? Like I said, marriage only have room for two people, you know. It's not for your friends to deal with. It's not for your family or in-laws to deal with. Those problems should be settled internally between you two. And if both of y'all love the Most High, then y'all will come to agreement, you know, using the wisdom of the scriptures, not man's wisdom. You know, the wisdom of man is foolishness with the Most High. See, so we have to keep these people out of your business, family. That's what this boils down to. Because anytime, just like this Gentile woman, you show up in court, they're going to rule according to their flesh, according to the world system, not according to righteousness or scripture. It's worldly wisdom or knowledge that they rule with. And most of them, like I say, are bought off or paid off, you know. There's no way what he suggested should have any effect on the expenses that they were in court for. It shouldn't even been nothing medical, okay? You know what I'm saying? But that's what happened. and it's going to continue to happen. All right, you know, family. When you commit to be married, that is supposed to be a lifelong commitment. The only thing should separate you two is death, when the Most High calls one or both of you in. Okay? All this other foolishness that you could easily get around if both of you got patience and long suffering. Okay? You know, when you first met and started dating, both parties, man and woman, put on their best behavior. You know, y'all may have dated for 6 months or a year, and I mean, you got your best behavior on. You know, the man is always complimenting you on how you look, and walks down the street holding hands, and you pull up to a place, he gets out the car and run around there and open the door for you, and all that kind of stuff. See? But soon as that name is signed on that dotted line, after a while, the true nature of both of you comes out. See, it wasn't like you thought. Why? Because we do things that the scriptures tell us not to do. You was judging by appearances. See, he appeared to be what you want. She appeared to be what you want. But you didn't know the real person until after you married to him. So if your marriage is based on appearances and sexuality and all that, your marriage is in trouble before you even say I do, because it can't be based on that. It has to be purely based on love and respect. Okay? Because you're not going to always look good. You're not going to always be sexy. You know. All these little sweet things you did before y'all signed that's not going to always be there. So you better have your marriage grounded and based on love. You know. Because when you get married, you're married a whole different personalities. Most people personalities are polar opposites. You know, they have nothing in common. But that doesn't mean it can't work. Okay? And it also doesn't mean it's gonna work if y'all have a lot in common too. I mean, y'all both can like the same food, like the same places. Everything seems to match up. You know what I'm saying? And that don't make it work either. Okay? That's not what makes it work. See? Because those things change too. You know, after you got married, now, you know, the man quit opening the door for you when you pull up. You know, he said, tell you weren't waiting on him to open the door, and he done walked off. He'll look back and tell you that's why they got a door handle on your side. You open your own door. See, all them things that people do when they courting, you know, that's gonna change, family. Believe me, it's gonna change. You know. Yeah. Opening the door, car door for you to get in, you know, when y'all was courting, he'd wait till you was fully seated and everything and close the door. Now he almost slammed the door on you. So, you know, your marriage got to be based purely on commitment, understanding, you know, that this person I'm marrying is not perfect and neither am I. So y'all work to develop workarounds, I'll say, to each other's flaws. And it can be done. You know, I guarantee you my wife had to work around a whole bunch of them. You know, but we've never separated ever. You know, divorce is not a word that's even mentioned in our house. And we don't fight. You know, I've never put my hand on her. And I've never called out her name either. Whatever her parents named her, that's what I call her. I don't care how angry I am. I don't go to them B's and H's and all that stuff. No, not ever, and never will. Okay? Because you didn't think that she was one of them when you married her. So why? What changed? What changed? So let's keep these marriages going, family, if you can, according to scripture. Like I say, unless it gets unbearable where one party is trying to lead you away from the Most High. Short of that, you know, you have to try to keep them, keep that marriage going, especially today in these times. You're going to need each other, you know. Sisters, you're going to need a strong man who's deep into the Most High, who loves the Most High, and he's fearless. You don't want to marry no weakling. The Most High don't even want women to be married to a weak man. He wants that man to be bold and strong in him to be able to lead over his daughters. Okay? You know, what good is a weak man when trouble comes to your door? He's running and hiding behind you. You know, he may talk good when he's away from the house out with his buddies. Oh man, I'll do this and I'll do that. But when the real trouble comes, he's afraid. The scriptures say, you know, if somebody wanna take possession of a man's household, you know, he gotta first bind the strong man. In other words, you want to come in and take my possessions and my wife and do anything like that, you're going to have to come through me first. See, I promise you're going to have to come through me first. Because I don't have any fear of man. I only fear the Most High. Man puts his pants on the same way I do. All right? So we kind of need to hold these families together so we can be strong as a unit. We're going to need each other. Okay? So let's do all we can to keep our relationship with our wives, you know, like it's supposed to be, and keep all these other mouths out of your marriage. Like I say, it's okay to seek help or advice from another Israelite or believer's counsel. You know, they're steeped into the word. I mean, they love the Most High with all their heart. They do everything by the wisdom of the scriptures. Those you can sit down, you know, and discuss and get spiritual guidance on how to resolve these issues. But the world, the advice you're going to get from the world, family, it's going to only destroy your marriage because there's no fairness in it. It's going to always be one-sided. Either one-sided toward the woman or one-sided toward the man. It's not going to be fair. Okay? So, with that said, family, I think I'm going to go ahead and close this video, but remember, a marriage has room for only 2 people, not 3. All right? Shalom.